This is the start of the job at Ravenswood Power Station in Queens, New York, Long Island City. And what we just did is our technician cut out a hole out of the XR5 liner and the geotextile fabric. And now we will then start digging to install our pump-through barrier sumps. This is Bill Wiltsey. He's shoveling, he's digging that sump. We're going to a depth of about 16 inches, and we're probably about 9 to 10 inches in. So Bill, stay cool. Mario is cleaning off the liner because we need a clean surface to weld the XR5 sump to the XR5 liner. The beauty about welding a liner is that there's no glues or sealants used, so it is a complete watertight seal. For companies that use glues and adhesives on a liner, the problem is that glues and adhesives do not hold forever, and they can come apart, and that will leave a weak spot in the liner and where water and oil can escape. Retrofitting liners is one of the things that SPI specializes in, because a lot of liners are put in without realizing that they have to get the water out, because the biggest point is for oil containment. And if water fills up the containment area with no way to drain the water, you're going to end up having to pump it. And if there's excess water in the liner and you have a total failure, now you're not going to have the capacity for the oil. So having good water drainage and passive oil containment is what SPI does. And putting this liner sump in, it's going to allow us to put our sump pump in and pump the water into our pump-through barrier. Here we're at Ravenswood Power Station again. I'm here with Mario and Alberto, and they're going to actually put the canister for the pump-through barrier into the housing unit. So they lift it up and they slide it in, and it's going to rest on the inner flange. So it takes a bit to just get it in there exactly how we want it. Once it slides down, there you go, you can see. And then they're going to put the screws in and tighten those down so we have a water oil tight seal. So this is the pump through barrier at Ravenswood that we're installing. We already have installed the petrol barrier canister, which is the first one that goes in. The second one is the sheen filter, and then this is a dirt filter that goes on top. This is the external dirt filter. This is the inlet hose, the 1.5 inch hose that's hooked up to the sump pump. And this is the 2-inch return line hose. As we look on the inside, you can see both hoses, both openings, the 1.5 and the 2-inch. We're going to hook this all up. This is the discharge right here. It's going to be set in place here. And as we set it up, we'll show you how it works. And Mario is putting the cinch bag on, tightening up. And now he's going to slide it into the new SPI pump-through barrier sump. See, it sits nice and snug. And over here, we have Alberto. He's tightening up the hoses, and he's going to put the return hose into the containment area. And this one is just about set also. We just need to put the heating blanket on it. We've got the discharge hose attached, and this is for containment area number 1 at Ravenswood Power Station. Okay, now the pump-through barrier is pretty well set up. We've got the return hose. The 2-inch return hose is now going back into the containment area. The cinch bag has the blue 1.5 inch inlet hose coming out. And the pump-through barrier is now all set up in place. Okay, now we're actually installing the heating blanket that goes around the pump-through barrier. So this will allow winter operation, and the inside of the pump-through barrier, the media, canister, and all the filters will be at 60 degrees, even in sub-zero conditions. The heating blanket turns on at 34 degrees and stays on until the temperature rises above the 34 degree mark. We've now completed the installation of the pump-through barrier. The sump was installed, welded into the liner. Our sump pump is in place inside an aluminum cage with our cinch top on our filter bag attached to the hose. The inlet hose is 1.5 inches. It runs out into the external pump-through barrier water filter. The water filter has its heating blanket on for winter operations, and the 2-inch blue line is the return line. So if there's an oil spill, actually after the pump-through barrier solidifies, the oil will then be returned into the containment area. This is the outside of the pump-through barrier. You can see how it's set up outside the containment area. It's got its heating blanket on. It has its discharge drain line on. The water that comes through the pump-through barrier is going to be discharged through the corrugated plastic pipe. Here's a better view of what it looks like from the other side, and on the inside one more time. So this is area number 2 at Ravenswood generating station in Long Island City, Queens, New York.